Hello, my beautiful internet friends. Welcome to my first ever coffee talk on my channel. So I had this idea to do a coffee talk. I've seen like a lot of people on YouTube do them. I typically don't see book channels doing them. Not that I've seen anyways. Where I just sit down and yap. It's kind of like a podcast episode where I'm just talking about books and life and thoughts about different things. So let me just put it out there. I've been having a nervous breakdown in April, okay? I felt very uninspired to film, and we're gonna get into that. So today I'm gonna kind of talk about my nervous breakdown, kind of a little personal life update. And then I want to kind of get into some thoughts that I've been having about the book space in general online. And then I'm going to get into like what I've been reading and DNFs and my immediate TBR and things like that. So we're just going to be talking about all things books after my little personal life update. So yeah, I'm just going to be drinking coffee and yapping, which is what I do best. So yeah, let me know if you like these types of videos. So basically, what inspired me to film this video is that I've been having a nervous breakdown. What caused my nervous breakdown in April? Well, health things for one. Everyone on the internet knows I have endometriosis. My latest excision surgery was in 2023. I've had 3 surgeries. It came back. I had an ultrasound. I've been in severe pain like almost every single day. Went and had an ultrasound. They suspect that I have deep infiltrating endometriosis stage 4. So I am meeting with a new out-of-state specialist on Monday. It's Saturday while I'm filming this. So that is as far as I'm going to go into that. I don't talk about my health super in-depthly online anymore because unfortunately, like, the internet is just a dark place. And first of all, it's like a catch-22 for me. I like sharing about endometriosis because it helps spread awareness, and it's a very common disease, and not enough correct information gets spread and leads to more women suffering down the road. So I do like to share things about it, but at the same time, I do like to keep my personal life more private. Especially, like, people online love to use things against you, which sounds insane. Like, why would someone use your health problems against you? Trust me, they do. And I just I don't know, and I don't ever want to feel like, oh, it's just Meg complaining again. So I mention it, but I don't get into tons of detail. I do that more on Patreon, which I love my patrons to death. It doesn't ever feel like those people are paying me or whatever. Like, obviously I recognize that they're paying me, and I love them, and I truly am so grateful for that, for the support from my channel. But they are genuinely like my favorite people, like my best friends. So I am always in the Discord, like, telling them everything about my life at all times, because it's like my safe space. Those people are truly some of my closest friends. So they always know what's going on at all times. But yeah, when it comes to like YouTube, it's like you don't know who's watching. I don't know. It's just a weird concept. But anyways, that's kind of what I've been dealing with and what's got me so like, because I know I need another surgery. And then I also just went through another breast cancer scare, which I went through one last year. If you've been here a while, I just went through a second one. Everything's clear as far as I know. My MRI came back benign, so I do see my oncologist this week. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. So you can see why I've been flustered. And then to top it off, I've been dealing with a lot of creativity blockage. Like, I just don't know what I want to do on this channel anymore. I'm like, do I want to, like, it's very obvious that I'm a completely different person than I was when I first started this channel. I was super into horror, and I was reading some extreme horror and things like that, and that's kind of how I ended up growing an audience. Like my Cows by Matthew Sticco video took off, and that's where I got like a ton of my subscribers from and stuff, and it's very obvious that I've been steering away from that and reading some different things, and I think I've just grown a lot as a person, and my taste has changed because of that. And I've been on YouTube since my early 20s. Like I had a different channel before this one, and then I started this one a couple years ago, and I'm in my 30s now. I'm not the same person that I was in my early 20s. So of course I've changed and I've grown, and my reading taste is constantly changing because I like challenging myself and I like reading different things, and there are so many books that I like worry about dying before I get to read all the books that I want to read. So I didn't want to keep forcing myself to read things that I just wasn't connecting with anymore. So yeah, because of that, I'm like, what am I doing with this channel now? I read a lot of transgressive fiction. I've been reading a lot of literary fiction. I've been reading a lot of satire. I've been reading a lot of just classics, like just different things, right? And so I'm like, what is my thing? What is my niche? I guess disturbing books, bleak, depressing books. That's kind of my niche now. But I just feel like a lot of channels, like certain people are really great at vlogs. Certain people just film like single sit-down book reviews. Some people just film recommendation videos, whatever. So I'm like, what is my thing? I kind of do a little bit of everything. Do I really want to sit down and vlog all the time? No, because like I said, I don't like sharing my personal life in-depthly. And then I'm like, do I want to just film singular book reviews? Not really. I'm kind of just like a mishmash. Is that the proper terminology? I'm like a mixture of everything. I don't know. I'm a little bit of everything. I'm a little bit Alexis. I just don't know. I'm like, and then I get into these like creativity blocks where I'm like, what do I even want to film? That's why I was like, maybe I just need to sit down and yap and get this all out of my chest. I don't know, but yeah, because of my nervous breakdown, because I don't know what to film, I started like 6 vlogs this month, scrapped all of them, scrapped every single idea that I had for this month. That's why I went down to 1 video a week and have been doing like some recommendation videos, things like that, which I love filming those videos, by the way. I started so many books that I DNF'd. I probably started like 10 audiobooks while I was working, DNF'd all of them. I DNF'd Good Girl by Aria Aber. I started reading this. I got like 100 pages in and just could not connect. I was like, oh, it's about a girl doing drugs, which is my thing. Apparently not my thing, but like I like reading about it. And DNF'd, I just couldn't connect to this book. There's a lot of like history and stuff going on, and I just couldn't get invested with my mindset. I DNF'd so many books that I was loving that I plan on reading soon, but I just wasn't in the right headspace, like Small Town Horror by Ronald Malfi, Elementary Particles by Michel Houellebecq. I'll never be able to pronounce his name. Blue Nights by Joan Didion, Stoner by John Williams. Loved all of these books, by the way, and I plan on getting back to them. My Loose Thread by Dennis Cooper. Like, I actually truly enjoy every single one of these, and I can't wait. These are my immediate TBR because I'm like at least a quarter of the way through all of them. So yeah, I've just been going through it. I'm like picking books. Oh, also Slouching Towards Bethlehem by Joan Didion. So I've just been picking up literally everything and putting it down. And then I read 3 books, my hair. I read 3 books that I absolutely hated. A Novel Obsession, A Touch of Jen, and then there's one for like a surprise vlog for Patreon. Hated every single one, and I'm realizing these like quirky contemporary literary fiction type books I absolutely hate, where it's just very shallow, characters with no depth. They're like quirky, funny, hee, like nothing's really going on. It's just like unhinged woman for no reason. I don't connect with these books. I don't find them interesting. I find them irritating. So because I DNF'd everything and then had 3 duds, I kind of went through this like nervous breakdown of, oh my God, I don't know what to read. What am I doing with my life? Sort of a situation. Which brings me to my next point. YouTube as a business, okay? I feel like everyone is reading the same things. Everyone reads the same books. Everyone reads new releases. Everyone's hyping up the same books. It's the same shit over and over and over online. So the way that I look at it is, I can argue both sides. I think it's great that people are reading. I think it's great if people are enjoying these books. Everyone should be reading what they enjoy, right? So I love that for people who enjoy these mainstream, well-known books. There are a lot of mainstream, well-known books that I love. I just made myself look like an asshole because I had a brain freeze. The Secret History, for example. American Psycho, for example. Like these popular, well-known books, a lot of them I love, but a lot of them are just not good. Like these modern, recent releases are driving me absolutely insane. Which brings me back to, I used to read a lot of horror and now I don't. These modern, new horror releases coming out, I have such a problem with them, honestly. So many of them are just the same thing over and over again. Very copy-paste, unhinged woman, kills shitty men, cannibals symbolizing love and fulfillment. Like, I'm just over it. I just feel like there hasn't been anything new in the horror genre. And it's like, well, how new can you get with horror, honestly? But it's just a lot of over-the-top, kind of in-your-face commentary. A lot of commentary that's so on the nose it feels like you're being beaten over the head. Whereas if I read something more like transgressive or satire, like the message is in there, but it's a little more subtle. And I just feel like the modern horror is just beating you over the head and beating you over the head to the point where the book isn't even enjoyable. And I feel like not even horror, like just new releases in general are kind of doing the same thing, where it almost feels like things are being watered down. I read a comment on one of my videos that said books feel like they're being, you know, like second screen for movies or shows where they assume everyone's on their phone, so they have to like kind of dumb things down so people can pay attention while being on their phone. That's almost how I feel books are being written nowadays. Like, I almost feel like things are being like dumbed down and to make the message clearer. Do you know what I mean? Not that I think that I'm super smart and intellectual. I joke. Every time I say that, it's a sarcastic joke and people take it seriously. Not that I think I'm some like holier than thou intellectual, because I'm definitely not. I'm definitely an airhead. But I just feel, I don't know. I just feel like things are just constantly shoved in our face nonstop. And not saying that commentary is bad. It's just that I don't need it so on the nose. And that's kind of what's been driving me crazy a little bit when it comes to new releases. And I do feel like I don't really know who to trust online anymore when it comes to book reviews, because I feel like a lot of people do rate things based off of the commentary and not the writing of the book, and not how not the content. It's more so like, oh, I liked the message of this book, so I'm gonna give it 5 stars, opposed to like, how is the writing, how is the content, how is the plot, how are the characters? Do you know what I'm saying? And also, I see there are a lot of paid reviews, not so much on YouTube, I don't think, anyways, I don't know, but there are a lot of reviewers that get paid. I do not accept money for reviews. I actually very rarely even review books for people. I would rather read what I want to read and when I want to read it. So I very rarely read like arcs and things like that. But a lot of people do get paid for reviews. A lot of people do get books sent to them for free, and that's great. I'm not saying those reviews are dishonest in any way, but I do feel like people are more inclined to be kinder or kind of sugarcoat things a little more than they would if they were not being paid and like spent their own money on a book. And again, not saying that we can't trust people getting books for free. I'm just saying you're more likely, like especially if someone is paying you, you're more likely to be like, oh yeah, this book is great because they just paid you for a review. You're not going to sit there and shit talk them, you know? So it does kind of lead the internet into being like, who can I trust? Who can I not trust? There are a few YouTubers specifically that I have really been into, who I trust with their reviews. I don't typically feel that way on any other platform. I think a lot of like Instagram and TikTok specifically has become more of a views and engagement type thing. It's more like, oh, this book is aesthetically pleasing. Oh, this is a new release, so it's going to get views and engagement, opposed to the actual review of the content of the book. Am I making sense? I feel like a lot of times people are only reading books that they see are popular, or reading books that are aesthetically pleasing, the cover's pretty, whatever, so they can post it on social media afterwards. Like, this is going to get the clicks and the likes and the money and whatever. We constantly see on Instagram and TikTok, I recommend this book, I recommend this book, I recommend this book, and you're just looking at covers, and I'm like, okay, but what is the content of the book? What is your review? What did you like about the book? I want to know, and that's why I trust YouTube more. I don't typically listen to reviews on other sites because it's like, just here, look at this photo of this book, and I'm like, okay, that's beautiful, but like, why do you think I want to read it? What is your point? And I just see more and more of it, and it's more and more of the same books over and over and over again, because that's what's going to get views. And like, for example, on Instagram and on YouTube, if I post a video or a photo, here's Mark Hoppus, for example, read this book, absolutely loved it, I'm obsessed with it. It's a new release, okay? I post a thumbnail with this, I post a picture of this, it's gonna get the clicks, it's gonna get the likes, it's gonna get the comments, it's going to get the views, whatever, okay? Because it's a new release, because it's popular. And people know this, and that's why they read new releases and post about them, and it's why we're seeing the same books over and over and over again, because it's what makes you money. And unfortunately, when you're doing this as a job, like, that's what makes you money. It's a business, right? And it sucks because I don't want to do that. And people make jokes like, oh, you act like you're not like the other girls. No, I'm actually exactly like the other girls. It's just that I don't know, my taste is kind of all over the place with books. So it's just, I don't want to read something just because it's a new release and it's popular and it's what's going to make me famous or online or whatever. Not that I'm ever going to be famous online. But I just want to read what I want to read. Maybe that's a book from 1920. Maybe that's a book from 5 years ago. I don't know. I think that there are so many great books out there and people aren't aware of them. And that's kind of like my job, is to find books that you might enjoy and read different things that you might enjoy and kind of help you as a fellow reader discover books that maybe you don't have the time to go out and discover, you know? I feel like that is my job here on YouTube, to read and recommend books to you that maybe you don't know about. Maybe you do know about them. I don't know, but maybe you wouldn't have picked them up before or discovered them if it wasn't for me. So that's kind of what I've been doing on YouTube. I just want to read what interests me and what I want to read. And those are the disturbing books, the transgressive books, the satire, the lit fic that destroys my life and makes me sob for days. The unrequited love, okay? Like, that's what I want. And I don't want to put myself in this niche or this box of like, you have to read this because it's a new release. You have to read horror. You have to do this because this is what people want and this is what's going to make you money. Yes, I would be so much more popular and I would have more money if I did that, but I just don't want to be the 900th person on YouTube reviewing The Lamb by Lucy Rose, which I did review in my wrap-up, but I just don't want to be, again, copy-paste of what everyone else is doing, because it's like, what is the purpose of that then? You can just go watch someone else's video who reviewed The Lamb if you want to know more about the book. Like, you don't have to come to me to listen to the 900th review of it. Do you know what I'm saying? And I appreciate if you want my review because you trust me, and I think that's what a lot of people want, but I just don't want to force myself to make this feel like a job. I still want this to feel like a hobby, which kind of sucks. When you're trying to grow and when the algorithm does not agree with you. But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on that. Like, I'm happy if people are reading what they love and what they want to read, but at the same time, I'm like, are they really though? Are some of those people actually reading what they want to read? I don't know. Which brings me to my last little topic here. I showed the books that I kind of DNF'd and plan on immediately reading. And then some books that I did finish. I finished Story of the Eye. All of these will be in my wrap-up. White Nights, fantastic unrequited love novella. The Mark Hoppus memoir, obsessed. I've been dipping in and out of Sylvia Plath's journals, love. And then my favorite book of the month so far. Oh, I did finish a Joan Didion, and I read, I read What I Mean by Joan Didion, and that one was okay. But my favorite book so far has been Rejection by Tony Tulathamuti, I think is how you say his last name. But this is fantastic. This is a short story collection. I actually think I might film an entire review video on this. This is fantastic satire about rejection, being chronically online, people who are overly sensitive, virtue signaling. This is like, this is probably the best fucking book I've read all year so far. I'm on the third story right now. I'm halfway. So I will obviously see where this goes. And if I love it and decide to make it my new personality, this will be in a review video, because look at all these tabs. I am obsessed with this book so far. Let me know in the comments if you've read this. I love it so much. I love satire. Okay, anyways. So yeah, that's kind of just what I wanted to talk about. I don't know if any of this made sense, because this was all off the cuff, me rambling on and on and on about life. So I don't know if any of this made sense. But I hope you got some enjoyment out of this. Let me know if you want me to film these from time to time, kind of like what I'm reading, life updates, things like that. I could have put all this into a vlog, but again, I didn't feel like getting my camera out every day and like sitting down and vlogging while I'm having a nervous breakdown. So yes. Anyways, I love you guys. Thank you if you're still here. Thank you if you're sticking with me. I feel like I don't show my appreciation and gratitude enough. Like I genuinely couldn't thank you guys enough. I love every single one of you. I read all my comments. I try to respond to as many as I can. I'm on Patreon every single day, in the Discord. Like I post on Instagram all the time. There's a link in the description box down below for my Instagram if you're on there. I do some book reviews, just like real quick ones. I do slutty cosplays. Listen. Yeah, I love you guys. And thanks for listening to me yap if you made it this far. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.